The 80-20 principle suggests that most women desire the top 20% of men, disregarding the average Joes, who belong to the lower 80% of the spectrum. These average Joes are essentially tossed aside, with little hope of finding a suitable partner. So, what can an average Joe do?
A century ago, when the Pareto principle first took shape, many average Joes sought to challenge the system, even though they were aware of the 80-20 rule. They knew that these women primarily wanted the cream of the crop. Despite this knowledge, these average Joes often engaged in simping behavior, desperately begging for the love and affection of these women. Consequently, our understanding of relationships has become quite distorted. They begged for affection and received only meager attention from the top 20% of men. The hereditary simp. In response, these average Joes eventually married women who might have been considered less desirable, had children, and unwittingly passed on the simping mentality to us. Rather than teaching us how to become part of the top 20%, they taught us to beg for women's affection, hoping they would accept us, provide intimacy, and perpetuate our simping tendencies. Apologize to a woman when she's angry, even if you're not at fault. Assist a woman in need. Buy her flowers because she deserves happiness. Happy wife, happy life. Hold doors open for her. Let her sit first. Ensure she walks on the safer side of the road. Refuse to sign a prenuptial agreement, and the list goes on. But where has this simping behavior brought us? Women have been elevated on a pedestal for the past century, developing an entitlement mentality, believing they deserve the finer things in life without exerting much effort. They often see themselves as the prize solely because they possess certain anatomical features. Now, our kindness and generosity are expected by these women. If we don't engage in simping, we are labeled as unromantic. Let me clarify something. The top 20% of men from back then didn't engage in this behavior, yet they were successful with women. Not just with one or two women, but with numerous women who sensed their top dog aura. If you've enjoyed this video so far, please consider clicking the like and subscribe buttons. And don't forget to ring the notification bell to be among the first to know when I release new content. Now, back to the video's theme. These women no longer content themselves with the top 20% of men. They are now demanding the top 10%. It's honestly quite comical. There seems to be no hope left for the average Joe. Do these women truly believe that men would strive to reach the top 10% only to be at their mercy? It's simply not realistic. Here's the deal. The top 10% of men have their pick of women, while the other 10% from the former top 20% are left with a surplus of low-quality women. It might sound crazy, but it's the stark reality. This is precisely why the top 10% of men often remain unmarried. It's not because they're afraid of divorce or losing half their assets, it's about practicality. Why settle for just one when you can have the world? An ocean of options. Who wants just one fish when there's an abundance in the sea? Word of advice. For the average Joe, there's one way to come out on top, and that's by joining the MGTOW movement. A decade ago, MGTOW emerged as an idea, a philosophy. Today, it's a full-fledged movement. Many men have come to realize that these women are entrenched in delusion and unwilling to change. So, how do you win a game that's impossible? Simple. Don't play it. In the eyes of modern women, if you're not a top 10% man, you're a creep. If you're not a top 10% man, you're a poor, horny, scary guy lurking in the dark alleys of New York. This is their perspective, despite the fact that you don't need a man earning $500,000 a year to lead a comfortable life. Even the president doesn't earn that much. Joe Biden, for instance, makes roughly $200,000 a year. Don't beg for the love of a modern woman. These women who desire the top 10% of men often bring nothing substantial to the relationship, not even the basics. So, gentlemen, don't let any woman settle for you. Remember, if you couldn't have her in her prime, you shouldn't take her in her decline. Women's ultimate goal. You know what these women's plans are. Deep down, they understand that these top 10% of men will likely never commit to them. So they spend their youth having fun, extracting resources from these men until they hit 35, and then they suddenly want the average Joe. They toss aside their unrealistic standards and settle for him. Clueless Joe doesn't ask too many questions. He doesn't inquire about her past. He marries her, the woman who's settling for financial help. The marriage seems fine for a few years, they have children, and then out of the blue, she doesn't love him anymore, demands child support and alimony. Stupid Joe's life takes a nosedive, and the gold digger goes hunting for her next victim. Don't be that guy. Let her continue her quest for her imaginary man. If she hits the wall, that's her problem. We refuse to be a woman's backup plan. We're not captains who rescue damsels in distress. You're not a superhero, you're not Captain Save-A-Ho. If you don't accept us, average Joes, then we don't accept you either. Take a hike, and that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you can be the first to know when my new video drops. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.